What's up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Grusby, and today I'm going to go off topic for just a bit. That is to say, this video won't be about anime and manga directly, though it does in a roundabout way concern anime and manga. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about the recent changing of the guard over at Twitter. For those of you that don't know, longtime CEO Jack Dorsey stepped down from the Twitter throne a few days back, and already the reins have been handed over to Chief Technology Officer Parag Agrawal. If you have seen any of my live streams or have listened to me rant on about social media, then you already know that I don't really use Twitter. I don't really use social media. I have a lot of negative opinions about social media on a whole, but this bit of news seems to have gotten some kind of traction within the anime community in regards to our favorite word, censorship. Now, apparently, new CEO Agrawal, in a 2020 interview with the MIT Technology Review, answered on questions about balancing First Amendment protections with the fight against disinformation. Our role, Agrawal said, is not to be bound by the First Amendment, but our role is to serve a healthy public conversation. The kinds of things that we do about this is focus less on thinking about free speech, but thinking about how the times have changed. Now, naturally, this seems like frightening stuff, almost the sort of thing you'd expect from a monster corporation that is set on destroying our collection of ecchi manga. But one thing that I hate more than misinformation is manipulated information. And while I absolutely have no love for Twitter or the giant big business peepees that they are desperately clinging to, I think it's important to show a bit more of that interview where Agrawal continued with, one of the changes today that we see is speech is easy on the internet. Most people can speak. Where our role is particularly emphasized is who can be heard. The scarce commodity today is attention. There's a lot of content out there, a lot of tweets out there. Not all of it gets attention. Some subset of it gets attention. And so increasingly, our role is moving toward how we recommend content. And that sort of is a struggle that we're working through in terms of how we make sure these recommendation systems that we're building, how we direct people's attention, is leading to a healthy public conversation that is most participatory. Within context, I believe it's safe to say that Parag Agrawal isn't so much talking about censoring anime images or going after your lewds of your favorite anime waifu, but rather the way information and the people communicating gets dispersed to the feeds. As part of his previous posting at Twitter, Agrawal was responsible for the machine-based learning portion of the site, which is responsible for the dissemination of communication across the whole plane. It's always great when people only show you part of a conversation and not the whole thing. Here's the thing about social media. No matter how free you think it is, or how liberating it is to spew and vomit in the comments, or how great it is that you can copy-paste political rants, the First Amendment does not and will not ever apply. The First Amendment only applies to Congress, who are forbidden to ever pass a law that prohibits people from speaking freely. Congress cannot pass a law forbidding me from saying that, in my opinion, members of Congress might be stupid heads, or might be idiots, or might be lovable chunk monkeys that I want to take out behind the shed, make sweet, passionate love to. Oh, yeah, that last one actually made me gag a little, but I hope you get my points. It isn't a technicality. It isn't some political loophole. It is the very fabric of our country's law. Twitter isn't a news site. They are a glorified version of 4chan at best. So the idea that they can or cannot censor anything is ridiculous. Twitter has no such power over you. Where Twitter, YouTube, or even Facebook have power is in their property. You are a guest. As such, you must abide by the house rules. Period. If Twitter suddenly decided that for whatever reason you could no longer post content about movies or the movie industry, well, it would be dumb as hell, but it's their site. They can ban whatever they want to. And if I wanted to continue to use that site, I would have to follow the house rules or get asked to leave. All the crying and the whinging and stomping around about how unfair it is pointless. When you work for a company, freedom of speech doesn't apply. An employee can be fired for talking bad about the company if it happens at the workplace. In an at-will state, employees can be fired at any time for any reason. Even in states that aren't at will, creating a hostile work environment is definitely grounds for disciplinary action. So, what does any of this have to do with anime or Japanese pop culture? Well, essentially, it's the idea that Twitter is this big giant faction that is against our love of anime, and that at every turn, Twitter and its users are devoted to making us seem like some kind of deviants for liking anime girls, thereby implying that this new change in administration is only going to spell certain doom for all anime lovers far and wide. Yeah, sure. I'm honestly more concerned about the fact that there are people on Twitter with single-digit IQs who honestly think that human rights should be granted to drawings, to digital images of anime characters. But you know, I don't have the energy to tackle that one right now, so we're just going to leave that one alone. If Twitter tomorrow banned all anime content on the platform, here's the thing. They aren't the law. They cannot physically take it away from you. They don't get to make that choice. Twitter is just a cesspool of loud, angry people shouting and pissing themselves over various topics of importance. They are not the government. And here's the most beautiful idea in the world. If Twitter is such a terrible place, and if Twitter hates your anime so much, then why do you keep going back? And please, don't tell me it's for the memes. So no, I'm not at all concerned about Twitter getting a new CEO. I hate all companies equally. Twitter has never been an exception. But the idea that they can or will ever control my fandom is absolutely absurd. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, then I'd love to get your opinion about this, so head down to the comment section and make with some words. Be sure to hit that like button, and if you are new here, then consider subscribing. If you want to help support the channel, you can do so by heading over to my Patreon, where you can make a pledge. You can donate as little as $1. I'll get a coffee, and you get more videos. Have an amazing day, everyone. Keep being awesome, and I will see you all in the next video.